Hello and welcome to Coxy's Picks, and today we're going to create a shim of our own. Now what we've got in front of us is a homemade and some commercial examples of shimming, just so you can see what I mean. What we're going to do is we're going to take first off it. So what is shimming? Well, shimming is when we place a piece of metal between the teeth on the pull and the teeth on the bow, and in essence we make the lock inoperative. This only works on the single lock mode. So if we start off with my homemade shim, which is 0.3 from feeler gauge, you put it through, lightly so, and lo and behold, the cuff unlocks. Then we can take a commercial one, just like this. This is the Gulag shim. It's 0.25, right? Effortlessly goes in and allows the cuff to open. Now that was the ASP Sentry. This is the Peerless 730C, right? Take the Gulag shim. Once again, you lightly push in. So what we're going to do is we're going to push in and on the bow, and lo and behold, we can then get it into position, and the cuff opens up. It's quite simple to shim, right? And the commercial shims all tend to be in one direction. So they tend to be like this, or this example here, right? Which is great when you're dealing with chained cuffs. But today I thought I'd show you how I deal with these. Now this is TCH840. They come in a rigid form only. There are other variants of rigid cuffs around in the world, like you've got the ASP 600 for example, and you will also do one. But these are the most common and iconic of the rigid feature. Now this particular tool that we're going to make will also work against hinged cuffs. And what do I mean by that? Well, these are susceptible to shimming, alright, before we go on. And they have a very gnarly trick up their sleeve, so we got to be very careful. So if we look inside, we can see that we have 3 sets of pulls with lots of teeth, 6 in total, right? However, we don't have to worry about the back 2. The back 2 are simply for backloading, okay? So the back 2 allow the cuff to backload, right? So we don't need to worry about them, which means that we only need to worry about the front 4 and 3 rows of. So we need to make a tool that can cover all of that. So for example, my homemade shim at 0.3, right? You slot it in and notice it covers over all the teeth nicely. So that would not be a problem. Smooth as silk. Now this is 0.3, which is quite stiff to do when you're actually trying to push it in. I'll just demonstrate, because the tolerances on TCH are quite tough. I bought this brand new set just specifically to show you so that it's not worn. So what we would do is you would place it in the top, right, and notice that it's going to take us at least 4 whole teeth to get it into position. So in the first one, and then there we are, we're through. Now if you were wearing that, that's actually now crunched on your wrist quite a lot and out. So that means that we've got to be very careful with what we're doing with our design tool. So if we take the Gulag shim, which is 0.25mm, we place it in position, right, like so. Just set the teeth. Notice I only had to move it half a tooth, and the Gulag shim is already in position. So just get another one, and we're done. 0.25 is the magic number. But when you're wearing these cuffs, how can you get your hands over into that position? So what we need to do is we need to come up with a tool that allows us to reach over and into position, or under and in position, because obviously they're both up or both down. So what I suggest we do is we convert these tension tools that you see in all of your kits, and what we'll do is we'll take one of the tension tools, right, and we'll turn that into 0.25 using grinding. And one of the cool things is that we don't have to modify it too much. As we take the tool, you'll notice it fits in there and covers all 3 pulls quite adequately. Notice it doesn't go all the way to the back, but that's not a problem, because like I said, the back predominantly deals with the back loading. Right, so when you want to start it off, or sorry, just so you know, they are available as part of a tension tool kit on Amazon, and you pay a whole whopping £3 for them to be delivered to your door next day, and then you'll receive these. So if you need to source them, they're on Amazon as tension tools. So we've got a lot of meat on the bone to take off. So you could either use a file, or you could be like me and use a Dremel, because if you look at this, we are at 0.95. We need to take off 70mm to make this a viable tool. Right, so I suppose we better get started with the Dremel. I'm going to try out some new bits that I've got on Amazon as well, and hopefully this will speed up the process. I'll be doing that off camera with my little rotary tool, and then we'll be coming back and checking it in stages and showing you the finished product. So here we go. Okay, so some time with the grinding wheel on the Dremel, you can see that we've got this tatty looking thing. It's quite scored along the way and everything else, so it will need polishing. Right, however, we've got it to around about 0.3 across the majority, so there we go, 0.3, which means that we're at the right spec. So I'm going to stop there so I can allow it to polish. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using the red wheel to take some of the striations off, and then I'll be finishing up with some metal polish and one of these polishing wheels so that it's nice and smooth and it slips in. But so far you can see that the tool is starting to take shape. So back to the Dremel. Okay, so as you can see, we've now got it nicely polished. We're just sitting around about the 0.28 to 0.3 in places. I didn't get it perfectly flat, so we are around about the magic number. I mean, I would have liked to have been 0.25, but oh well, never mind. So as you can see, it's a little bit finicky in places, but that's perfect for what we need. We want it as a shim, right? And let's see how it works. So the idea is that we're going to go between the bow and the body as before, but you're going to reach up and over, and just like that, you're going to sit it in. Now we've got the magic number, which means that we don't always have to push on the teeth, because we can just force it into position, and then it will just undo like so. So there we are. What do I mean by that? Well, as you can see, I've designed this one so that the ridge is just at the magic point there, so that will stop me from going any further. So as soon as I feel the plastic, I know I'm in the right place. So I suppose what we need to do is demonstrate with it facing up and facing down. So let's get the cuffs on. Ooh. Try not to hit the camera as I'm doing it. Okay, so we've got the cuffs on, nice and snug. We take our shim and we're going to take it between the finger and the thumb like so, and you can notice that we've got full control now. And what we can do is we can reach over, right? We can place it between the body and the bow, push down just like so, okay, and it fits into that position there. Once we've got into that position, you're going to place your thumb here just to steady it and hold it placed, whilst you then lean up with your arm and the bow flies open. So you would then repeat it on the other side. Obviously you've got a bit more control now because you've got one hand free, but there we are, the principle is identical. Now it does change when you're doing it with the bows down, so let's just demonstrate that. It's a bit easier to get the cuffs on when it's bows down because you can just use the table. Right, so when you're doing it this way, you're going to reach up and under, so it's kind of like a cradling effect as you're reaching up and under. It's going to be difficult for you guys to see what's happening, right? But you're going to try and reach up and under, so I can show you there. So you're going to reach up and under, get it into the bow and the body. Once you've got it into position on the bow and the body, push until you feel the hard stop of the plastic. One little nudge, and there you are done. So that is my TCH840 rigid tool. So thank you very much for watching, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.